Okay, welcome everybody to our European Identity Awards ceremony. And like, I think that it's the 5th year right now. I think the first year we did a European Identity Conference, we didn't do the awards, and since then we do the European Identity Awards. And so I just want to start with some few information, a little information about how we do it, and what is the, let's say, what are the criteria we are using when we choose among the nominations whom to give an award. So that's really the point where I just want to start, and then I will hand over to Nigel, and Nigel will guide through the ceremony. So where's the, here it is. I've just quickly put together some criteria we're using. So the primary factor is really that a project is something that shows a new and innovative approach to solving issues corporations are facing. When it's about standards, it's a little bit different regarding corporations, but at the end of the day, it's about innovation, about good ideas. And I think there are different things we are looking at, and there should be some leading edge aspect in there for sure. There is, if you look at what we are having this year as awards. And so we have some things that are, for example, we are currently looking at. So one of the important topics for us today is really supporting hybrid clouds, an interesting point. We see tightly integrating different types of technologies for a complete offering and really integrating different things. Making use of new technologies and standard on a very large scale, or doing it very efficiently. And I think that's also, or embracing and extending existing IT infrastructures. Covering complex heterogeneous environments, either from the involved parties or from the technology, and dealing with particularly complex project scenarios. So there are a lot of, let's say, different points we are looking at, and we really try to find out, okay, where are the projects where we say, okay, that's either something we never have seen and heard about and it's so great, or that's something we are expecting for quite a while, and finally someone has completed the project that way. And that's basically what we really look at. And then we have, just to give you a little background, we receive nominations, we do calls with the companies, we look at those things. We also have written reports this year for virtually all of the awards. Most of them will be available at our website, I think latest by tomorrow. So you can then also look at it a little bit more in detail. We have changed some things, so we have usually only one award per category. Only in one category we have 2, because these are really so different but outstanding projects in that area that it was really hard to say the one is better than the other, because really both are outstanding. We will have a special award on mobile security, which is a very important topic. And we also will have the first time a thing we call Lifetime Achievement Award, something we didn't have until now. So it will be 5 categories, plus special award, plus Lifetime Achievement Award, plus the one category where we have 2 winners. So that's it, what we will see right now. And so I would say I hand over to Nigel right now.
Thank you.
And I will sit over there, because then I can always move to the next slide, which then provides some details about the project.
Very good. Very good. Well, we are delighted to proceed then with the awards, and the process is that for each award, an analyst from KuppingerCole or a guest will make a brief presentation speech, and then we shall give the award. And the first award is the Best Identity and Access Management Project, and the presentation speech is from Sebastian Rohr.
Yeah, thank you. Does this work? Okay. Yeah, it's my special honor that today's first award goes to one of my former employers, and it's a really large organization, and this is definitely one of the reasons this project has been chosen, because we all know if you have a multinational company with lots of different HR organizations, with lots of external resources that need to be provisioned and need to be supported, with identity and access management, you tend to get a very, very complex environment. And we found that this project especially stood out from the crowd because it was both serving cloud environments and non-cloud environments. It was taking in data from SAP systems and non-SAP HR systems. It has a focus on being a hybrid in the deployment mode, and that would really make us see that the complexity of this whole project was really, really large and impressed us. One other thing that you have in international deployments is that you tend to have multiple regulatory environments that you have to take care of. And this really gives a headache to all the auditors and also to the identity and access management stuff. So one more reason here was that this project did not only comply with the very strict German regulations, but also was covering some of the EU and international legislations. So we had a multi-regulatory project that satisfied auditor requirements from all over the globe, which is definitely something that earns this project an award. One of the really pain-inducing things that we have sometimes is that if you have workflows in the approval and the approvers are not there. So you have to have stand-ins, you have to have people that say, well, I can't approve that, I don't have a clue who that is. So they just promote that to somebody else and escalate. And what we've seen in this project is that there were actually workflows that allowed for up to 20 people to actually say, yeah, this is okay or this is not okay. And I think this is, again, a showcase for the complexity that has been covered and successfully covered in this project.
So I'm delighted now to present this award. This is the Best Identity and Access Management Project. And you name the awardee.
It's Siemens Corporation, and I'd like to welcome on the stage Mr. Schäfer and Mrs. Ecker from the corporate IT department, being responsible for all the HR applications.
Thank you. Congratulations, sir. Congratulations. And do we have a formal photograph here? Do we all line for a photograph?
In die Mitte.
Go. Go. Okay, excellent. Thank you very much. Now, do you want to?
So, thank you very much. I think this award is a recognition for the excellent work the team has done. The team has met many challenges, like handling a complex architecture, communicate with users all over the world, and last but not least, observe many national and international rules and regulations, and this is really not easy. So, again, thank you very much on behalf of the whole team, consisting of Atos, Biscon, and Siemens. Thank you very much.
We move now to the second award, which is the award for Best Access Governance and Intelligence Project. And the presentation speech is from Martin Kuppinger.
Okay, yeah, in that case, it was a project which is, from my perspective, interesting, not because it takes, let's say, the standard access governance approaches. It's more really about how can I deal with complex requirements, how can I deal with a complex infrastructure in that area, with a lot of participants, and how can I do things like, which I would call identity-aware security, so really going beyond, let's say, the traditional approach of logs and looking who has access to what, but really looking also on the real-time aspect of all these things. And there are environments which are specifically sensitive regarding security, which we find in several areas of the government. And in that case, it really was one of the projects where it is about such an environment, which is, and you will, once you hear the name of the winner, it becomes very clear that they are extremely sensitive in this area. So really what they've done is they've dealt with a lot of parties from different countries in a very complex environment, again, where they have very high security requirements and where they really gone beyond, let's say, just analyzing who has access to what towards an approach which also looks at what is happening at that point of time, integrating sort of SIEM, so security incident event management, with the traditional approaches more from the identity access management side. And so that is, I think, a very good reason to give the award in that specific category to Europol or Europol. And I'd like to have the person from Europol then to come to our stage. I've seen him some minutes before, so hopefully he's here yet. Okay, here you go. And as I've said, it's really a very interesting project because it goes well beyond the traditional static approaches. So welcome, please, from Europol.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Martin. Thanks. Thank you very much. Thank you. Niels wants to say something? Good evening, all. I'm very glad of Martin that he didn't say Interpol. That's the usual mistake that people make, so that's the first joke. So first, I would like to thank basically KuppingerCole for this, let's say, preparation. And I think, winning an award does not mean that we have addressed all the challenges. So after listening to the wonderful presentations where we, have all the new technologies and the new challenges ahead of us, I think there is a lot of work still to be done. And this is, and for the people that are more interested to, let's say, learn more about our experience, tomorrow I'm giving a presentation to maybe digging into details on real-life business issues that you need to think, let's say, using the tools and the wonderful standards that we have been discussing, but then with a business-enabled view of it to, let's say, address the challenges. So thank you again, and please, if you have opportunity to join, let's say, us tomorrow, that would be great. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you. We move now to the third award, where in fact we have two awards in this category. The Best Cloud Security Project. And we have first a presentation speech from Sasha Paulus.
So good evening. The cloud security category obviously is something we're very proud of trying both to get people onboarding to the cloud whilst preserving the security. So this is something very specific here. The project that has been awarded in the first place was chosen for the European Identity Award due to its reuse of existing infrastructure components to support a hybrid cloud environment and for significantly reducing risks in the cloud infrastructure. It shows the importance of having identity and access management in place to be able to make the move to the cloud in a secure and compliant way. Specifically, the project supports the security of one of the very largest cloud collaboration deployments worldwide. In this project, the award winner migrated towards a Microsoft private cloud collaboration solution used by more than 200,000 employees. Strong authentication using soft certificates together with a tight integration with the corporate directory assured strong access control whilst preserving the critical information within the company's IT premises. The award, the first award in the category Best Cloud Security Project, goes to Daimler AG, and I would like to welcome Dr. Barbara Mandl on stage.
shy.
Thank you.
And we'll have the photograph. Okay, well, we'll photograph here. Okay. We'll here. Would you like to make some remarks?
Yes. Okay. Well, this has been a long journey, and it's still a longer journey to come. I want to thank somebody who's not in room here. There is a person who's been enabling me for many years in my department, and that is my CIO. So I've been very lucky, because without the CIO, this wouldn't have been possible. My team, two of the biggest contributors who've been on the team very long and did the first grunt work in identity and access management at all. And I want to thank our partners for many years, very loyal and very good and excellent partners, IC Consult. Thank you very much. Have a nice evening.
And the second award in this category, the presentation speech is from Mike Small.
Good evening. Well, it's for the last several years, I have been writing, presenting, and advising on cloud security. And so it gives me a particular amount of pleasure tonight to make this presentation of this award to an organization that has clearly followed much of the advice that I've been giving. Now, many people come and say, what should we do about the cloud? And what should our strategy be for the cloud? Well, the answer that we always give is that you really should be meeting business requirements. And so the first thing is to understand what the business requirements really are. And in this particular case, the business requirements were to satisfy the need for a number of mergers and acquisitions and an escalating number of accesses to different software as a service providers. And to do this with security. Now, when you look at cloud security, once again, many of the times people will talk in particular about things like antivirus, hacking, web issues. But the most fundamental part of security is who can access what. So identity and access management is a very important part of cloud security. And it's especially important because the organization that is using the cloud, largely speaking, remains responsible for attesting the users that have that access. And so it's particularly pleasurable to give this award to an organization that has focused upon that particular area. And the third thing that is key in this particular award that we're giving tonight is that it has to be scalable, it has to be done quickly, and it has to be done in a way which clearly matches all of those requirements. So it's a particular pleasure for me today to present this award to Sanofi and their technology provider, Ping. So please, can the representatives of Sanofi and Ping come to the stage?
So, who would like?
2, 1. This is for us.
No, it's for him.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
So, should we have a photograph?
Okay. Maybe you go
Come in the middle. Yes, very good.
Clifford, do you want to say
Make some
something?
remarks.
Thank you very much all, and I would like to thank everyone that has been working on this project and with whom we have been doing a great teamwork with Sanofi, Ping, and Kernel Network. So thank you very much all.
Thank you. We come now to the best approach on improving governance and mitigating risks. And the presentation speeches from Philip Arfol.
So this award really pleased me on the first point because it improves security of some things that I'm using regularly as a consumer of the service. So more than the technology, I have a direct concern about what they do. And when we are talking about plane, airline, airport, everyone expects that security is a given. Nevertheless, it feels me, and probably you as well, good that not only people are chatting about security, but they also do something real. And in this case, you know, this project was about improving the governance and risk mitigation by removing the administration password for more than 10,000 systems and aligning the process with the international standard, and finally verifying that the work was effective by scanning tools and verifying that it was effectively done. So I'm very pleased to, and also very proud as a French citizen, that Aéroports de Paris won this award for improving governance and risk mitigation. I think they're not in the room, but that Jürgen Köhler from CyberArk is going to retrieve this award. Félicitations à Aéroports de Paris.
Thank you. Merci bien. Félicitations. Merci beaucoup.
Photograph.
Thank you very much, very, very much. I'm very happy to receive that award on behalf of Aéroports de Paris. As you mentioned, they cannot be here. I think they didn't get a plane. They pretty much did what every company does. They are ISO 27001 certified. But what only very few companies do is they also took care for really living that policies that they gave themselves. And one of those was, as Fulur mentioned already, to also take care of privileged accounts. So it was a privileged identity management project, and I think it's a good thing to see that also this specific part is now coming more and more on top of the notch. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next award is for Best Innovation New Standard in Information Security, and the presentation speech is from Dave Kearns.
Good evening, everybody. I'm really happy that I get to present this award for Best Innovation and/or Best New Standard, because I think the awardee satisfies both parts of that equation. It is indeed the best new standard I've seen in a while as far as identity is concerned, but it also shows a good deal of innovation in the reuse of things that we've used before. I recently called this protocol the gigabit Ethernet of identity. And by that I meant that gigabit Ethernet bears the relationship to the Ethernet Bob Metcalfe invented 45 years ago that this protocol has to its predecessors. That is to say, they share a name. Gigabit Ethernet has really very little in common with the old Ethernet. The old Ethernet just couldn't work at those kinds of speeds. New things had to be done, but we called it Ethernet, and people accepted it, and they used it. Well, in the same way, our honoree here, OpenID Connect, builds on the legacy of OpenID, at the same time adding into the protocol those things that were missing from OpenID. Now, I was there the day OpenID was born. It was a rainy day in Berkeley, California, at the first Internet Identity Workshop, when a group of people realized that they were all working independently on essentially the same thing. They got together, and out of that, OpenID was born. Unfortunately, OpenID had some major flaws, never caught on the way we would like it to. But some forward-thinking people formed the OpenID Foundation to carry on the work that was the intent and the promise of OpenID. So they've worked very, very hard, very, very diligently, and they've created what we can only call an elegantly simple design. And these are people now working on this, who created this, who have come from all different areas of the world, who come from partners, competitors, people who like each other and people who don't like each other. But they've gotten together, they've given us OpenID Connect, a wonderful protocol built on top of OAuth 2.0 and SAML, which leverages, of course, the brand recognition of OpenID, simplifies for identity providers, relying parties, and users secure authentication and secure authorization. OpenID Connect is going to have a substantial positive impact on usable, secure identity solutions, both for traditional computing platforms and for the mobile devices we've been hearing so much about this week. So for that reason, we're awarding this award to the OpenID Foundation. I congratulate them on their win, and to accept on their behalf Don Tebow, who is the director of the OpenID Foundation. And Nat Sakamura.
Congratulations.
Thanks, Ted.
Congratulations. You're taking this too? Okay. Now photograph.
Paparazzi is a very...
Paparazzi, moment of celebrity.
Why don't we get groupies?
It's my pleasure to receive this prestigious award on behalf of my community. OpenID Connect is a collaborative effort of many companies and individuals, and it's very secure, very privacy enhancing. And so if you haven't looked at it yet, please do. It's a very elegant solution.
As Dave indicated, the OpenID Connect protocol is the product of a team of rivals. Companies like Google and Microsoft and Facebook all contributing. So the alternative was either a bolt of lightning or an award. So we're very pleased to accept the award. And I particularly wanted to acknowledge Nat Sakamura, Mike Jones, and John Bradley for their leadership of this splendid team of rivals. Thank you very much.
Now, a somewhat different award now, and the Lifetime Achievement Award. And we have a distinguished guest to make the presentation speech. His significance will be explained in the context of the award. Dr. Jacques Buss. Thank you.
Well, first of all, I would like to thank the organization for inviting me to give this particular award, because I'm really very pleased and honored to be able to do that. Lifetime Achievement Award for ID and ID questions, ID business and innovation, for the influence that the person has had on the various organizations and governments, and his involvement over the whole lifetime. And of course, that is a long and very rich time. He started as a mathematician, but not the very theoretical type as maybe I myself am, but with a great enthusiasm for hands-on work in electronics and also in programming. And in fact, as I heard, he is still actively implementing mobile apps in his teaching environment. He became a professor when he was at the age of 33, and he was one of the inventors of what was called MUPIT, the Australian teletext terminal or network computer, which presented e-delivery, telesoftware, downloadable executives, which we are currently calling applets. And in fact, that was quite an important invention. It was later mentioned as prior art in a patent infringement case of Wang versus AOL Netscape with respect to browsers. In the 90s, he specialized in information security, particularly asymmetric crypto and implementation on smart cards. He, of course, drew the attention of his government and was a director of the Austrian Information Security Advisory Board. He was responsible for the Austrian Citizen Card project, and he is still a chair of the Austrian ICT board. And also internationally, he was extremely active in the OECD, in many situations and committees, in the Council of Europe. He shared also the EID ad hoc group of the E-Europe. He was one of the fathers of the STARK project, and I think most of you certainly know this interoperability EID project in Europe. He was the chairman for 4 years of the ENISA Management Board, and he is also a member of the IT-Raad der Wijzen. That means advising as one of the wise men to the commissioners Kroes and Šefčovič. In fact, I, of course, wouldn't know that all because I know him only since 8 years. I really respect him for his enormous dedication to the objectives, and I also like him very much as a person to work with, a person on whom one can rely. I met him, I think, for the first time when I was head of unit in trust and security in the European Commission. That was at a Vienna workshop. I remember that was the first workshop where I did the Viennese walls in the classic way in the evening, together with Vivian Redding in a ballroom, which was quite an experience. I also stimulated him to work with Kim Cameron and Kai Ranneberg on a proposal for a common identity framework, user-centric ID meta system in 2008. And I convinced him that he should become a member of the Receptus Advisory Board, which stands for Research and Innovation on Security, Privacy, Trust in the Information Society, which I had kind of organized via a project of the European Commission, and which came with a very well-received report on the subject that I just mentioned. And now he is still, also as a kind of a consequence or a follow-up of this Receptus board, working with me in an association which is called Digital Enlightenment Forum, where we are trying together with other people to further to stimulate the discussion of the transformation of the society, or the impact of the society of the digitalization, and he is really one of the key members there. So I am very, very happy to be able to give this award to what the jury, and I quote the jury, says the smartest governmental CIO in Europe, for his contribution to the innovation and to the influence in Austria, in Europe and beyond in electronic identity management, e-governance and security, and of course also as a very good friend, Reinhard Posch.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It was really a surprise. I just got an information whether I was present today, so I didn't know until a few minutes ago that this is going to happen. I'm greatly surprised and honored, and I understand this as a clear message that I should be pushing towards the Commission, because a former Commission member or a member of the services of the Commission is doing the introduction, so I will use that as a clear message to keep involved in the new regulatory framework on EID, which is coming this year. And in this context is, to my view, the very moment in this year to receive this. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And finally, we have a special award for mobile security. And the presentation speech is from Martin Koch.
Yeah, so thank you. In that case, you know, mobile security is one of these topics I'm very, very interested in for a long time. I always say, you know, we're dealing with devices which are pretty small, which are have approximately the same security as the PC of mid-80s, but which is heavily connected and which is capable of doing much more things than the first PC I had was able to do, which wasn't connected, and which a device I couldn't use for many things when I go back to my first IBM PC XT. And now we have these mobile devices. They are more or less as insecure at that device as this device, but it's a totally different world. And so I really look at things which help us to improve mobile security, and I've seen a lot of things there. And I think one of the things which is always a problem is, on one hand, to get hardware vendors of mobile devices to really implement security at a high level, because it costs a little bit of money, and so the question is always, where's the business case? And the other thing is, if I look at solutions which then say, okay, you might put in some other type of hardware in there, or you might carry another token with you, I really don't believe in these things, because when logistics becomes too complex or usability, it it won't work. And I think that's another very important point. So when it comes to mobile security, it's really about how can you make these things work in a very smooth way, very simple, based on the things people have. So the device, regardless of what type of device it is. I think that's another very important point. So if it works only for today's device of choice and mobile operating system of choice, the problem simply is, we don't know whether this will work 2 years from now with new operating systems, new devices of choice, and so on. And if it's a pure and only software-based approach, we might struggle with the fact that an out-of-band authentication or something like this can turn pretty quickly into an in-band authentication if it's the same device. Or it becomes uncomfortable again because you can't use the device you'd like to use for your, let's say, e-banking to receive the SMS which provides the PIN, because then it would be in-band. So I think it's a complex situation. I really look at approaches which make things easier. And the other thing behind this is also, I think a piece of hardware or a piece of software with no service behind doesn't help that much. So it's also about having something where you have a set of services, managed services, which really enable you to use solutions. And this year, the special award for mobile security really fulfills these criteria. It works regardless of the operating system. It requires only something which you have in every mobile device. It's based on standards. And there's a set of, increasing set of managed services available. So the first things are out in pilot for customers, and there will be other things as well. And it's something which right now starts in Switzerland, but based on the fact that it works with standards, it's interoperable, it can grow. And I think it's also a very good, let's say, a very good example for maybe other mobile service providers to follow that path. So the award in that category this year goes to Swisscom for using mobile ID and the project they've built around that, which is really a project which says, okay, I use a SIM card, which is enabled to securely store certificates. And if you have your SIM card of that type, which is rolled out now, you have the security technology and you carry it around because you carry a mobile device around. So you don't have another piece of hardware, you don't have another thing there, and you have the managed services. And that's really the reason why I think this is definitely worth special award for mobile security. And I'd like to welcome the persons from Swisscom to receive this award, please.
Well, thank you very much for the introduction of the mobile ID. It's a product that is now started. No, it's now launched. Yes, thank you very much for the award.
I think I just want to add, because it was one thing I've learned, I think yesterday, when talking with some of the OpenID Connect guys, and it's just a short thing I'd like to add. They said, you know, last year at your conference, we were sitting in the lobby in one of these sort of cubicles, and we're discussing the functional specification of OpenID Connect. So what makes me somewhat proud is that our conference was a part of the work on a thing which we found right now really definitely worth to receive an award. I really think that's a nice story at the side of these things. Right now I hand over to you again, Nigel.
Thank you. Well, this has been an exciting evening, and it has only just begun. Time for celebration. It's a wonderful thing to be able to award people for their efforts. And it strikes me what is so interesting is you see here the whole sort of process with the ideas, the principles, the execution, and I think an awards occasion is a very special one because this is the product, this is the achievement, and we are all encouraged and excited and encouraged not least to emulate those who have had such success. So, as you leave the room this evening, we have champagne, I believe, waiting at the doors. In tune with the occasion, we will have a buffet dinner upstairs. And then we hope you will all join the Ping party. And the buses leave at 8:20, 20:30 and 21:30. And so we have a whole evening of celebration. And then tomorrow morning, we commence with keynotes at the usual time. Thank you very much. Thank you, Martin.